that has an Ember Spirit. Did they put too much focus onto this defusal kind of a game and not enough into the lockdown factor? I mean, what do you think about how Vega were stringing together those items?
Well, the defusals was the answer to the masked Ghost Scepters, right, on the side of LGD. Yeah. When we were looking at this, at some point during the draft, I believe I said, hey, Vega really need damage here. They need a right-clicker. Well, when you looked at it at the end of the day, their damage was so heavily focused on Ursa and maybe also to some extent Nature's Prophet's right-click that they really had no answer to the Ghost Scepters of LGD without those 2 Diffusal Blades purchased on the Doom and the Ursa.
Yeah. The Doom one was, to me, a little peculiar. Just I think he got fed up because there was like multiple fights in a row where he was silenced for like 8 seconds straight or something by Night Stalker, then Death Prophet. The very first big team fight we had in the mid lane, it took him ages to get the Doom off, so it also helps because it can counter those silences, but I think he would have probably been better served by just going into a BKB this game. But
I would have loved to have seen where he used. I mean, he picked it up, and the next time we looked at him, he had no more charges. So I don't know. He was just
one team fight.
Just dish him out to everybody.
Have you guys ever seen that before? I don't think I've ever seen like 6 charges used in one fight before.
I mean, and if Diffusal was such a key item, he could have gotten a Purge Creep. Yes, it's nice to be able to have the pack leader's aura. The damage bonus is really nice. He's actually like he's a bit of a right clicker, but really, like, I mean, he wasn't actually right clicking that much in a fight. So I think really looking back, you'd probably just say I should have gotten a Purge Creep and used that, going for BKB, whatever else. But I don't think it was itemization that lost him the game. It was very much just the overall execution.
Here we see the statistics for match number 1, and when you look at the numbers, at least starting at the top, the game seems to look pretty damn even, 31-32 as far as kills. Deaths are nearly on par. Assists are there, but it wasn't until crunch time at the end that LGD kind of pulled it out. And we talked a bit about Vega and the way they itemized in LGD. Yeah, they had all those Ghost Scepters, but they also had the Lotus, they had the Lincolns. It felt like so much that Vega had to work around just to get anything done.
Yeah, and that's where LGD got more out of their items. Every 4 stuff you get, this cheap 2,250 gold item that can save a hero's life against an Ursa. Puck gets this Lincolns, which I'm like, Fog mentioned himself. He's like, yeah, I don't really think Puck's gotten anything out of this Lincolns. Like, it wasn't a bad item pickup, but you spend 5,000 gold in this item, which helps you a tiny little bit. He still died a few times in the fight to the line. So realistically, just LGD were getting more value out of their items, which was less that they were playing and using their items better, but more that their draft used, the heroes they had, their hero composition could just benefit more from them.
Yeah, I feel like that can be an issue for Puck in general, where his itemization in a lot of these matches can feel a little bit awkward. He can have trouble keeping up in farm, and after you saw that very strong opening in the mid game, no one really wasn't able to stay atop the farm charge for the rest of the match. But I think it's important because we've mentioned some mistakes made. I actually felt like both teams played really well in this match. I felt like Vega, they got done what they needed to get done early. They really forced LGD to show the kind of coordination and unified evaluation of objectives that they hadn't thus far to keep themselves alive in the match. And LGD, quite simply, they did what they needed to do to take it out to that 40-minute mark, and from there they were able to win the game. But this, you expect in a LAN like this, maybe a few jitters, maybe a little bit of rust in the opening game. Not so here.
Do you think with that performance, LGD have already proved that they're a team to be forced to be reckoned with more on LAN than the online gaming field, or is it just maybe some adjustments they made since they've been playing online?
I think they've clearly made those adjustments, but let's be honest. I mean, this is LGD gaming. This is Zhao 8. This team, the expectations for this team could not be higher. I actually think for some people, if they don't win this event, it'll be a little bit of a disappointment. This LGD squad has a lot of expectations coming in. They delivered in game 1, but let's see whether they can keep that up.
We had mentioned that LGD, it's on them to be able to pull out a huge finish here. Might even have to require a first-place finish if they want to be into that invite category for possibly the Manila Major there. For game number 1, Gods, if you had to pick out maybe someone to be an MVP for this game 1 matchup,
you know, Gods hates this too.
Oh, no, I don't mind. I'm always going to pick the support players. I'm gonna go with Night Stalker just because it's hard to, it's as far as what the hero brought. Zhao 8 on the Night Stalker was the key to success that game. He got off some really big important silences that delayed Doom coming out. The vision advantage that he provided his team. I think Zhao 8 on the Night Stalker was the MVP.
Yeah, I like that. Now, for our audience, just in case you're unaware, Gods and I have had kind of a fun back and forth. Initially, you were not a big fan of MVP awards.
Oh,
in Dota.
I'm okay with MVP awards. I think they're a good story. Like, they had a good narrative.
Exactly. And I will agree with you there. By the way, I thought MMY's Lion was also very strong throughout the game. That's his 65th career win on Lion. Nobody else has more than 38. It's also his 326th LAN win. That is #1 all time. MMY, I think, is the best player in Dota that we don't consistently talk about. For sure.
Absolutely. Now, this could change things up as we get ready for the players to return for game number 2. How would you like these teams to kind of make their adjustments here? We could start off with Vega, who happened to kind of take the first game loss. What would you like to see change up from them? We can start with the draft if you'd like for Vega.
You know, it's hard for me to point out any one thing that Vega did wrong. I think, if anything, you fix some of those situations where you play with a little bit more desperation when you know that you have the enemy carries buyback on cooldown. But I don't think Vega did that many things glaringly wrong in this match. What do you think?
I don't think they need to change anything, but I think the game is naturally going to be different because the draft is going to change so much when Vega have first pick, which I can only assume is going to be the case. So it's going to lead in. It's going to be a different draft. I don't think it's so much a conscious like, okay, let's draft out Plan B. It's Plan B is just going to happen because you have first pick. That means they get the Enchantress. Maybe they'll go a different direction and take the Invoker in the first stage this time instead, since that's been a bit more of a staple pick for them. So. They're still going to play the same style. I think they played a very polished game overall. There was a few times where they didn't perhaps play as aggressive as they needed to, but Vega, all in all, I think they look great in game 1. Like that's the thing. It's like they lost, but they played some really good Dota.
So I'm racking my brain here, and I guess if I had to come up with one thing, it might be I'd like to see them go with a little more of a draft that'll allow them to leverage Solo and his ability to bring early pressure. If you saw it, Xiaowei with his Night Stalker, in addition to playing well all game long, was really able to kind of bully that top lane early on. You expect maybe a Night Stalker to have problems closing on the creep wave against an Ursa with a Lion backing him up, but he was doing just fine in that early lane, and of course then Enchantress shows up with the 2 balanced satyrs.
Yeah, that helps a bit. And it did feel like, though, that after they kind of get their advantage in that top lane, they try to roam a lot, and we're a bit unsuccessful in getting any sort of catch on to Vega there, but credit to Xiaowei to be able to still find a way to be able to be a big factor in that early game a bit. But what about for LGD now? They're coming off a first game win. Now they're going to be the team without the first pick, I'd imagine. We'll see if maybe they'll change things up with their choice. But we're predicting that they'll probably be Dire's side. Without first pick, do you make sure you continue to put in check something like the Enchantress? How do you lead off the gate as far as those bans even?
I just think for LGD, it has to be such a relief. This is like the first match that I've seen where the players that they have, their hero picks, and their execution were all on the same page from the beginning to the end of the match.
Yeah.
Despite individual mistakes in Dota right now, I think individual mistakes with a couple exceptions you can survive. But when your team isn't on the same page, you're just not going to win at this level.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting now. You could see there on the camera shot, Vega were still looking at game 1 replay. So that's very much them saying, we didn't lose strategically in the draft. They're not talking about the draft, the strategy. They're looking at the execution, the decision-making. They're going through some of the fights where they maybe made a wrong call or something, because to them, they're probably looking at game 1 like, we had chances to win this game. It was that game is probably about as close to the game as you can get. So the fact they're sitting there looking at the replay still, like with 10 players in the lobby, next game about to start, really suggests that they believed what they went for in game 1 was the right call. And I think despite the result, it did show.
How did you feel about the Mag NP play?
I think it was really solid. We talked a bit when we first saw the mech whether the mech was the right call, but he managed to maintain his farm. I think there's so much more pressure on your core heroes, your mid and your offlane when you're playing with an Ursa, because Ursa is never going to scale. He doesn't take objectives. You're required to do so much more as a core player when you have an Ursa on your team if you don't snowball and win the game. So once they didn't get that fast Roshan, and once the game kind of transitioned into this even game, suddenly Nature's Prophet and Puck have to do a lot. And Puck, as a hero, is not going to be able to get tons of kills unless he's going for like a Dagon 5 rush, which has its problems in itself. So there was just too much weight on Mag's shoulder that game. And I think you look at his endgame score there, and it's like 6-2 and like 23 or something ridiculous. He did everything he could. It just wasn't going to be enough.
And I mean, this just may be my bias because I am a huge Mag fan guy. But
fan guy.
There you go.
Well
but I always want to see Mag on the hero that starts the fight. And he did have some pretty good initiations. Yeah. But Puck is the hero in that lineup that has to start the fight, not the Nature's Prophet.
We even used to see Mag play that Puck in the off lane because he just liked those kind of initiator heroes. I mean, I feel like for this patch, it's without question is Beastmaster. We'll see if they'll be able to grab it up this time. But what about falling back on some of the old tidings there? What if they creep in like something like a Broodmother? Is there still value in kind of pulling it out this day and age against a team like LGD? Or
Brood is like like when you're feeling really desperate. You're lower bracket, you're down 1-0, you're like, what other tricks do we have up our sleeves? That's when you maybe pull out a Mag Brood. I don't think now's the time to really go towards the Brood. I think you play your Vega Squadron Dota. You play with what's got you here, what won you got you through the qualifiers, what's won you other tournaments as of late. Like that to me is what Vega need to do.
What about the psychological game here? I mean, Vega being down one game, we noticed they were looking over game number 1. You made the kind of impression that maybe they're satisfied with their draft and how they approached game number 1, but were not able to follow through. Would you agree that that's how they should be feeling mentally? Are they a team that can be wavered a bit after dropping one game?
No, Vega's been here before. Vega has been in this situation where they've been playing on LAN against teams that were favored against them. They've been down. They're a team that has a very strong concept of how they like to play Dota. And I think everything that we're saying is that they just need to stick within that concept.
All right, fair enough. It sounds like we actually have a draft ready to go for game number 2. So why don't we go ahead and hop into that, and we'll see exactly how our first picks are going to be underway. And of course, we got to give shout outs and props to the sponsors that have helped make this event possible. We have EGB.com, the leading esports betting website, and of course, the Score Esports. Check out their newly designed and redesigned eScore app. We can catch it on the iOS App Store and, of course, Google Play. And, well, Twitch.tv, I suppose, has had a little bit of their own sponsorship, and you're probably here now watching it from their website. But here we go, folks. We talked about it a bit, and indeed, Vega Squadron, with their first pick, are going to be able to snag up that Mag Beastmaster. I feel like it's his best hero this patch so far, and hopefully he will not let me down.
Yeah, and this is much more, apart from the Doom, this is much more the opening and the draft, how I expected it to go between these two teams. LGD has obviously done their homework. They are going to ban out the Enchantress, but that Beastmaster for Vega, just so strong. And now I really do look to see them try to pick up Solo's mid hero here in the next couple of picks. If not here, then first pick of the second phase.
We'll have to see what priority they're going to put on. I mean,
Do you mean no one's mid hero or Solo's?
I'm sorry,
You
no
said
one's mid hero.
sorry,
No one's. Did I say Solo?
Yeah,
no,
when you said mid hero, I assume that's what you meant.
I think it's going to be. I think OD is not bad here, although still susceptible to that early roam.
And
We
OD
never-
matches up quite well against Invoker. But
Exactly.
Zeus?
The Zeus. Okay.
Zeus
Okay.
grab here. Does it feel a bit early to have that commitment for a Zeus?
No,
Your opponents have already gone for like showing their mid, so I don't think you need
Right.
to hide anything. And there's a very high chance the bans on that second stage will be towards the OD, the Zeus, these type of no-one heroes, because he does play that. He does have that slightly smaller hero pool that he prefers at least.
Yeah.
Not that he's limited based on hero pool.
and this is, again, it's just their sort of branded Dota that they play so much around no one and his ability to make plays and his ability to get that farm up. I think that's fine. And he's, I think, 7-3 on this hero in their in the patch. So I have no problem with that as a pick.
Now, for LGD, they get this early commitment to the Doom, and we saw Vega play in that 4 position, but with LGD, it's Xiao Wei. This could be just as easily a core offlane Doom. Does it seem more likely to put something like that, and you could pick up something to still roam and pressure the Zeus where he could be at his weakest?
I think you can do either, and I think this was something that I felt was a real strong point for LGD in their last draft, that they pick up the Enchantress early, so they have the flexibility to have her as 3 or at 4. And we even talked about in the last draft the fact that they could switch offlane. Well, they happened to start with Xiao Wei, solo offlane, but then the early rotation by Enchantress pretty much won them that lane. So I think you're going to see the same thing here with the Doom.
Ban out on the Spectre from LGD, a wise call, because but you already pick up on the Zeus, you have that intense global factor there. And, well, the next pickup going to be going the way for LGD on this one. So we'll have to see what kind of support staff's going to be with them. Again, I thought MMY did a stellar job on that Lion. I could see them just as quick go for that pickup once again.
Yeah. There's less of a huge demand to have that lockdown, because like last game, it's you want to be able to catch and lock down the puck in place, but still always going to be a good hero and always like a stable MMY pick that you know you're going to get value out of.
And I also just like the general philosophy of you've opened with 2 cores or with 1 core and a relatively greedy support. I like picking up that harder support to open the second phase.
The one consideration for me is if you want to get a more defensive support who can help save the hero that gets roared. And then there's the 2 heroes that come to mind for me is Venge, who you've got the swap save. You've also got some roach taking potential as a side note. And the other hero is Oracle, who we haven't seen too much, but there's always those certain situations where Oracle can be really good. And against Beastmaster, against Batrider, those are kind of some of those scenarios where you will see more of the Oracle pickups.
I mean, Batrider is also still out there, so if there's going to be no ban, let's say, on something like the Oracle, he could still creep in, and if they decide to shove that Doom over, we'll have to see.
Don't completely, I think it's very unlikely to happen, but don't completely rule out them pulling a little bit of a wild card and putting aggressive on the safe lane Invoker. We've seen aggressive play traditionally mid heroes like Queen of Pain in the safe lane, and they have run maybe on the Batrider, although I think it's probably 85-90% you'll see them maybe Invoker mid. The Phoenix ban, by the way, I think is really, really good. I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to talk about that hero this weekend, but I just think the way it's being played recently is just so hard to deal with.
Yeah, especially in the hands of someone like September, who seems to be a fiend on the hero. Someone's mentioned, I believe you guys, 1,000 or so games and pub play with it.
Good
I was just, when I see the Phoenix ban, I'm like, okay, they want to pick up some kind of tanky safe laner, like that's going to be hurt by the Sunray, and that's where the Sven gets taken
There's
out.
the Oracle.
Okay.
Yeah. I really like it against Beastmaster. It's like a natural kind of pseudo counter, and does mean they don't have much in the way of lockdown just yet, but that they can easily solve that problem with either their second support pick or even their carry role.
It's also very good against the Zeus. A high damage spellcaster. Fate's Edict will completely nullify that altogether.
It's just so, I think it's hard to play. I think it's a hero, especially against a lineup like this, that if you've run it a lot in scrims, if you're very confident with that, it can be a great pickup here. But it's also something that if you screw up a fight with Oracle, I mean, you can just screw your whole team.
Plus, Aaron, or Ayesee rather, has never casted a game of Oracle, so I can't wait to hear how he's going to work with that.
Dude, it's Ayesee. You just listen to his voice and you're happy.
Yeah, the pants come off and everything has a good time at that. Disruptor, though, going to be the grab. It's been a Vega staple for quite some time. Great being able to get that kind of pick-off potential, and Kinetic Field, of course, with the Static Storm could render all these heroes completely useless there. So
yeah, it suits Vega's playstyle so well. It's just Vega like to play from ahead. They like to have a mid-game advantage, and Disruptor is just so dangerous when those kinds of things come out. LGD, I do think you think about picking up your carry position here.
If there's like a certain one that I'm not sure what it'd be. The Gyrocopter always been a go-to for aggressive. I think it's the right kind of tempo of carry that you need to fight into Vega right now, who will be trying to use that Beastmaster on the mid game, the Zeus, his power in the mid game. But
ooh, whoa, that is funky fresh. The Lifestealer going to be coming out.
I've read a lot of just people talking about this hero saying he's going to come up, he's going to be one of these. And people saying this patch getting stale, like, yeah, the opening picks may be a bit predictable. When you get to this third and fourth pick, every team will have their little niche picks that come out, and that's what LGD have just done here.
I mean, I think you and I are talking to some of the same people, because I have had a number of people who I think are really, really smart tell me, no, Lifestealer is viable. Lifestealer can work. Safe lane Lifestealer can go in this patch. I just haven't seen it work yet, and I think in particular, this Vega Squadron lineup has the tools to deal with this Lifestealer really, really effectively. You got the Roar that goes through his rage, and you've got Clinks with incredibly high physical damage output. Lifestealer has very low strength growth for a strength hero. He's squishy to physical damage, especially when you have that Desolator coming out early on Clinks.
What do you think about the fact that the Lifestealer seems to be lacking what people love to call as like the vehicle for the Lifestealer? We know him to be kind of running into a bit of trouble, getting himself into the fray, into the fight, and that's when you have the benefit of something like the Puck or a Batrider or some way to really get in there. They don't really have any of that at all at the moment. So does that put more pressure on him to pick up like your ancient golem or something to find your way in?
Yeah, let's say your vehicle may just be the ancient creeps here, because something about just the general Invoker playstyle is it's become very objective based with the Exort Invoker, where you get the Forge Spirits, you just push down towers, and a Lifestealer in an ancient creep is great for pushing, because it runs past the tower, and you can't do anything at 15, 20 minutes in against this creep unless you have huge physical damage. That's where the Clinks pick is a great pickup for Vega, but I still don't think it's like a complete solution to deal with those ancient creeps early on.
Yeah, on paper, I mean, you talk about Lifestealer being able to hop in an Ancient Black Dragon. You've got an 850 damage AoE dot that the Ancient Black Dragon can cast 5 times.
It's pretty disgusting.
I mean, who thought that was a good idea?
The Frog did. That's what happened. LGD, that's an intriguing last ban. They still ban out the Brood, even though with the early commitment on the Beastmaster, maybe they just really don't want to have to worry about a Brood at all, but I really don't think that was in the radar there for Vega. So, and then, of course, Vega are going to be making sure they get rid of that Lion pickup here, as LGD will still need, possibly, of course it can depend on where this Doom does end up, that secondary support.
Yeah.
If not that, then their own off lane.
They have zero real control lockdown now. They've got like the Invoker spells, which is for an Extra Invoker like Cold Snap basically. Outside of that, you've got very limited tools to lock heroes in place.
Well, neither team has great lockdown, but there you go. Okay. There's your solution to that.
Yeah, they'll pick up an off lane and put the Doom into the jungle. I like this call in general.
Wait a minute, though. Is this so aggressive? Has actually run
That's
a safe
true.
lane Slardar before.
So
Is this a
Lifestealer offlane?
4 lifestealer?
Or
Or
a
is this a
four-position
3-4
life-
lifestealer?
I think
Wow.
Doom is more likely. The 3 Lifestealer, quite possible. I'd be surprised if he's played in the jungle. To me, Doom is the natural kind of 4-position hero here to go in the jungle.
Yeah.
And then when he just evaluates the situation, like looks around at the lanes, like which lanes are gankable? Do I pick up a smoke and go mid, kill the Doom, kill the Zeus, or do I just sit here farming? But Lifestealer probably going to be in a lane. It's whether he's safe lane or Slardar.
I'm sure I'll be completely wrong, but I actually like this lineup much better if Slardar is aggressive hero. And the Enigma is such a perfect pickup here. I like Vega once again. I think their draft is a great concept.
So you're thinking Vega for
Yeah,
game number 2?
I think well, okay. Let's be honest. I want to see game 3,
You want to see
but
game 3?
I do think
Fair
I
enough.
think I like Vega's lineup a lot.
What about for you, Guts?
I think Vega as well. I have a slightly edge towards their draft.
Fair enough. All right. With that said, we'll throw it over to our casters there inside the arena now. It's Ayesee and Fog. Gentlemen, have some fun.
Oh, I think we will, and don't worry, I actually know how to play Oracle. Poorly, though it might be. I am somewhat familiar with the hero, and of course I got my good friend Fog right next to me to help keep me in line. And just to your point about pants, I'm actually not wearing any. The people behind me are getting quite a show, so thanks for that particular shout out there, Dakota. Anyway, Fog, talk to me about this draft, man. You had a lot of reactions as we were watching it here from our own desk. And, you know, when I look at this draft, the first thing that jumps out to me is punishing. LGD has a lineup that once core items are up, especially any kind of mobility items, the two that stand out are a Blink on the Doom and on the Slardar perhaps. Those items with the team that is largely going to be fairly squishy when you talk about a Zeus, when you talk about a Disruptor. LGD has the ability to punish them, but what's Vega's counterpunch there? What's the approach Vega wants to take here?
They have an immense amount of team fight ultimates. They have the Black Hole whenever it's up. They have Zeus ultimate, of course, as well as just Zeus in general, just being a great team fighter with all of his spells. Oh, what is this? Oh, we have a really early smoke coming out from LGD right now, running down the mid lane.
Let's see if they're going to spot someone. Solo is the closest target. It's going to pop, and they're going to go for it. Looking for anyone, and Solo able to make it back to safety, and it looks like everyone should be able to scatter. So, you know, a little bit of early aggression from LGD, and, you know, I guess it's worth saying, they're going to be a punishing lineup to begin with, and they do have some very good answers to the strengths of Vega's lineup, in particular the big team fight ultimates you're talking about with the Doom. But as the lane's set up here, tell me what you think the laning phase is going to look like on both sides and what the primary objectives. I mean, obviously, yes, farm good levels, we know that. But if you had to pick one thing on each side that you think both teams want to accomplish between 5 and 10 minutes in, what is it?
Well, they definitely want to get this early level 6 on the Clank, so we'll see how much Disruptor really plays on so much just being a zoner. I want to see what LGD is going to do in order to guarantee that this Slardar gets levels. I'm pretty sure September and MMY are both just going to move down to that lane really early on. I don't know if they really want to leave aggressive, so they might keep the Oracle there, and September might just help them, which is the likely scenario. But that's, yeah, I'm sure that'll be their attempt. They don't want Mag to have a completely free lane, and Lifestealer is definitely not the best hero versus a Beastmaster in like any type of 1v1 situation. Oracle, though, very good versus basically any offlaner. He's just super good at zoning. He has one of the best animations in the game, high damage. The boars can be slightly annoying because you are sitting quite low on armor and everything, but this is going to be pretty interesting to see. Middle is going to be a trade-off. At least they do have this Enigma denying the creep the first wave, but the big thing that LGD did was warding this enemy jungle, which is the biggest deterrent they could have did. Solo is going to be very crippled.
Well, the lanes do take shape, and we can see MMY is playing aggressive, as you had mentioned. Mag eating a little bit of damage. Went boots first, so he's going to be able to skirt in and out with the help of the boar. Should be able to keep any aggression off of his back. FN pounding away on Zhao 8. So let's talk about the proposed build, what you think the Slardar should be looking to accomplish here. It seems like in many cases, if you rush a Blink, like first big item, even sometimes just going straight treads Blink, it can blow up in your face because if you don't win fights and make a lot out of that early on, it bites you. Is that a risk you think they're going to be willing to take, or do you go with maybe a little bit more of a solid build, something that you can just ease yourself into instead of high risk, high reward?
It's Zhao 8. He's going to be more of like the playmaker, making stuff happen all over the place. So he'll probably just go for the like either tranquil boots into like maybe even like 4-step we've seen sometimes,
Right.
but probably just the blink dagger, just standard stuff. And September he eats the troll creep over here, runs into the enemy jungle, leeching XP from Solo, who actually messed up his first Eidolons. He lost them to the Alpha Wolves, and now he's able to recover a little bit with his second ones. But because of this, Slardar is going to have a incredible lane. And now, as I say, he gets glimpsed really far back, and he actually could die here.
Yeah, a lot of damage being taken here. He's going to go ahead and get the crush
Nice
off.
crush on both.
Any damage? One more arrow will do it.
Got him.
Yes, one last right click. And the disruptor,
lane
the
right now.
first up mid. Looks like they're going to try to get aggressive, and they do manage to bring down the Zeus as well. So LGD quick to counter punch. It's going to be a 1-to-1, and bringing down the Zeus there is valuable. But I think delaying the development of this Slarder is so important to just slowing down LGD's potential to be offensive.
Yeah, beautiful play there from Sayoma, though. From getting that glimpse off in the kinetic field, Xiaowei, I definitely was not even expecting that. He just got completely caught off guard there. He got a nice two-man stun, but picking him off there as the creeps were coming into the tower was nice. But he still gets the XP in the end. But yeah, September doing a great job of recognizing the pressure going on bottom. Makes the rotation middle, uses the ensnare on the Zeus, and they're able to just net a kill with the Infernal Blade plus Cold Snap.
But taking a look at early CS, it has been active to start this game. A lot of close calls and a couple of kills already netted. Clinks is coming out on top there. He's got 18 CS, 14 and 13 for the Lifestealer and Invoker respectively. Pretty good level development in all levels. Taking a look at Solo, he's a little lower than I think you'd want him to be at this point, though. And, you know, when do you want to get Solo active if you're Vega? Like, is this just a let's allow him to get up, you know, some pressure items, you know, like a mechanism or something like that, or is it, you know, sooner the better?
Probably just his level 6. It's going to take him a bit longer because, like we were saying, they block 2 camps out for him, which really, really sucks. But yeah, once he has his 6, he can either make a smoke gank and try for the mid lane, or just make a big rotation. They can try pressuring with the Beastmaster, with the Eidolons as well as the Boars, because it is a bit hard for them to deal with it with the Lifestealer.
Speaking of the Beastmaster, his CS, nothing to write home about right now, but he is, you know, a fresh level 5. I mean, or excuse me, level 4.5 on his way to 5. So I feel like he's getting a fair amount of experience out of this lane. You take a look at Zhao 8, he's been forced back. He just dinged level 4 as well, so kind of a
I'm curious how Zhao 8 is able to get so much in this lane. I don't really know what happened with the pulls and everything, but
oh, look at this. MMY might be, he may die here to Axis. Yeah, that's going to be a kill, a 1 versus 2, and he's going to go ahead and drop the Iron Branch and eat it for the regen, as Mag is just going to make it away completely. That's gigantic for him.
Good call. I almost missed that one. I didn't really expect it to be happening either.
Yeah.
I really wanted to understand what happened in this, like with the poles bottom, and just Zhao 8 able to get so much experience is gonna be huge for LGD. It really is. He's almost level 5 on a Slarder who you'd expect to maybe have nothing, and he's got 12 CS on top of that to boot.
Well, he died and got run back behind his own tower twice that I've seen. And I think what it comes down to is poor management of lane equilibrium. He's been able to farm a lot of creeps back near his own tier 2.
Yeah, looking like they kind of want to go for another play on him. They put down the lane ward.
Sayema's got full mana pool. His glimpse is going to be 10 seconds off cooldown though. And here we go. September's going to get eyes on him, so they're going to spot this. He's just level 4, but he's going to go for it. And using
nice. Uses the clap as well, but
it's going to be
forces
close.
The glimpse. Zhao 8 should be able to catch up to him here.
Yep. Zhao 8 tracking him down.
This is so big for the Slardar. It really is.
Well, Zhao 8, as you said, right place, right time. Good rotation over from the Doom. Didn't manage to get the job done on his own, but certainly getting Zhao 8 in a decent position. He has gone with the Tranks, as you mentioned, and he's going to be moving on from there.
He's having a great start, though, already. Like, his movements, both of his ganks so far has worked, which is just absolutely perfect.
How often do you see this? 2 offlaners that are in better shape than an Enigma in terms of level and item development. You take a look at Solo. I mean, he's got a soul ring up, he's got brown boots, but he's just now hitting level 4.5. In the meantime, Mag's 5.5, a full level ahead of him, as well as a Slarder following that kill.
Nicely dewarded there, so no one's able to get deward. September getting kind of chased down, but this is going to be a hard kill unless they are able to get the glimpse. Does he go greedy for the rune? I hope not. No, he does not. Good.
6-minute rune will come up. That will be picked up by the Zeus, of course. The double damage is hanging out. Nobody's even got eyes on him. I mean, they can see it with the ward, but nobody in range to grab that quite yet. But so, you know, we're beginning to see a little bit more movement, a little bit more action. Talk to me about this Clinks and how you think they're going to try to utilize him as best as they can. I mean, obviously, there's the typical core items, but what's the approach? Oh, the glimpse back. Here we go. Immediate TP
from the Invoker.
And
Zhao 8. Oh, he's 50 gold, 50 XP from level 6.
Oh, no. Here we go. September, not 6 either, not even 5. There's going to be the stun coming from the Oracle. September there, trying to do damage. The Clinks, the Clinks is just right-clicking away. He will get the Disruptor, but it's going to give a kill, maybe 2. MMY will drop. So FN notches a double kill and not nearly worth it, as they tried to make something out of nothing and paid a huge price for it.
That's the answer what they're trying to do with the Clinks right
Oh,
there,
you can kill stuff. Oh, yeah, they want to farm heroes. Got it.
Yeah. No, it was just great timing there. His death pack was still active. His skeleton walk was wearing off, but I guess September underestimated how much damage he was really going to take from that, and as well the Zeus ulti coming out.
Speaking of the Zeus, he is just getting mangled here in mid. It's a 27 to 42 deficit.
Aggressive, looking for a creep. He does not get a dragon. He doesn't. I guess he's just gonna.
No,
he's just gonna take it anyway.
I was gonna say, he rages out, gets mad about it. Couldn't
Let's
find
see. No one might get ganked from it though, and maybe if we didn't call it out, but he did go cross Wex here in this game.
Here we go. Not a lot of mana left on no one either. He's dead. Nothing can be done about that. And yes, my friends, the build that plagues your pubs can plague a major LAN in Kiev as well. FN gets eyes on MMY. A lot of damage being poured out. One more arrow will do it. He's going to be crushed, but not before he gets one kill. There's going to be a glimpse back onto Xiao.
Good
Roars
rotations
there as well. Beautiful, as you said, rotation from Mag. Mag found his level 6 not long ago. And
Getting close to a book already too.
Yep. Surprisingly close. Wow. Like, I mean, he was doing well. There's a regen that just spawned bottom as well, so if he wants to stay active on the map, he can. But, yeah, they're actually going to give it to Saima.
But great awareness there. They saw that the Oracle ported down and dewarded this, so they just responded with multiple heroes, and it ends up benefiting them heavily. Slardar, he's still getting great farm, great level, so that's good, but Beastmaster there picks up the kill, close to his book. He's got his smoke ready for the next gank already. But yeah, this is really interesting that he did go for this Quas Wex on Invoker, which, actually looking at it, is very appropriate. All these heroes get destroyed by EMP. And now, Oracle again getting punished. FN, does he want to go for it?
He's thinking about it. He's worried about response, I think.
Looks like MMY knows.
Yeah, but he didn't have any eyes on aggressive either. Wasn't sure where he was. And the Enigma, again, been quiet so far, has found level 6. He's picked up the headdress, so one would imagine it's going to be a mech on the way. And, you know, maybe that's the go item. And a lot of times, you know, just go Brown Boot, Soul Ring, mech, and at that point you can afford to roll the dice and try to take a fight off of smoke or something. So
yeah.
I think that's a safe approach for them. And really, you know, the kills for Vega, once again, same as last game, are favoring Vega, I should say. So the kills are favoring Vega. But it's still a really close game. Less than 1,000 gold separating the two teams. Experiences there. And that's actually a little surprising to me. As LGD, you know, I could point to a number of things that would make you think they've been beaten up in this laning phase.
Yeah. We see September and maybe wanting to do a smoke here. I think they want to catch the Clinks right now. They're setting up MMY top to get farm, and they're just going to sit on him with the smoke. They have the dust on the Doom. They're going to get a lane ward up. And yeah, they're just being very patient about this.
Yep.
Wow, big stack over there too.
Nobody going to be home for this. Clinks is going to be going with the Deso Rush, no surprise. Treads Aquila, now there's going to be a smoke of Vega's own. And I haven't checked in on Xiao 8 in a while. He's a little less than halfway towards his blink dagger, a little over, I should say. So Vega, if they can delay that any longer, and especially if they're able to take a tower off of this, which one would imagine they would with Strafe, there's going to be the glimpse back.
That's a hard catch.
Yep, that's actually missed it just a little bit, I think. They may get the tower anyway, though.
But both teams, they both end up having fail smokes there, so not too big of a deal. And now we do see no dragons, though. He does have a dragon in his own Ancients, but he didn't end up looking for it. He ends up taking the Ancient Granite Golem from the enemy teams. And now, yeah, it's the Golem, guys. And I don't think that Vega's really want to even come to this bottom lane, because what do you do to this Golem? They're going to just deal with the other lanes. Mag smoked up his own. He's got his book, looking for this Invoker. Maybe more than aware of that, though. Going for a Midas as well on this Quas Wex.
Yeah, I was just going to point that out. I mean, you know, Quas Wex, excellent in control. It's a great point you make about how mana-starved a lot of these heroes are going to be, and you know, just how crippling it is for them to lose any percentage of their mana pool, let alone as much as an EMP will take off. But that seems a little overly greedy even, especially with Vega, with this team that wants to fight, wants to build momentum, and once they get any kind of head of steam going.
September's going down here.
Oh, there's going to be a roar.
Nice tornado.
Yep,
he's caught the Disruptor ult, though.
Yep, and maybe we'll be able to barely make it out. Doesn't matter, damage is there as the Thunderstrike able to finish him off. Saima having a great game on the Disruptor, couple of misplays here and there, but they've been very marginal. He's really made plays when it counted. That's going to allow Vega to now double up LGD on the kill board. And Aggressive got to be careful here. The Clinks is able to pour on a lot of damage and bring down even those big Ancient creeps pretty easily.
Yeah, and Oracle's still not 6. That was very unlucky there for maybe. He kind of just overstepped and walked into the kinetic field and got caught inside the Disruptor ulti as well, as he was trying to throw out the Tornado and EMP.
Yep.
So getting himself actually killed. But Great rotation there from Vega as well. They not only were pushing from the front, Mag set up with the smoke and rotated from behind, able to find the Doom here out of position.
And speaking of smoke, maybe.
It's ghost walked.
Yep, not smoked. For some reason, I could have swore I heard the smoke sound, that he and Zhao were both smoked. But they, catching the Clinks is becoming a very high tier importance. He's very, very close to finishing a Desolator now. And once he gets that up, I mean, and our awesome panelists touched on this, is, even like a lifestealer who can feel very brutal, like if you're able, with this build he's going to be going, if you're able to bring down the Ancient Creep quickly, you can focus him down because he is so vulnerable to any kind of physical damage.
September might get roared out again here.
Oh, there we go. There's
Book
the roar.
isn't up, but he looks... Okay, they've got the Oracle there.
Oracle comes in. Mag eating a lot of fire damage. Oh, there's the EMP. We can see Mag being pursued out. There will be the burst forth from Aggressive. Help secure that kill. Ult there from the Zeus, and the fight is turned. Zhao 8's very low, has to rethink trying to come back into this fight. Aggressive doing good work as MMY is still up and standing as well. And that's a pretty big win for LGD. That's the kind of thing, and once again, we didn't see the Enigma do much of anything that fight, so still a relatively quiet fight for Solo. And, yeah, the tornado might have killed him. Oh, FN almost getting the kill there as well. But now Saima, caught from behind, it's going to be Aggressive. September, get a free one.
Great rotations coming out from both teams. But the Oracle ulti there just completely devastated everything that Vega was trying to go for.
Yep.
They didn't have the mana for the hole. The EMP knocked over the Beastmaster. His book also was not up for that engagement.
Yeah, and this is really the concern again, coming back to what I said right when we first started, punishing. And now Zhao 8 with a blink up, and he's been way behind schedule for a while, but now with him catching up quite a bit, this is looking really good.
That's
for
an amazing
LGD.
Timing.
Yeah.
On an off-lane Slardar Blink Dagger when he didn't really... the Doom only came down once to help him. He has so much CS. He has 46 CS on an off-lane Slardar.
And it's not as if he had an easy lane. I mean, we talked a little bit about maybe the creep equilibrium not managed as well as it could have been, but they made a lot of runs at him. He has been disrupted down there.
Yeah.
And
Arcane Rune for Zeus. And a Desolator finished up on Clinks with the mech as well on the Enigma. So this tower looks like it's going to drop for sure for Vega.
Keeping this Clinks alive until he gets a BKB, I think is going to be so important. Like if his item progression slows down at all going with this, I mean, and it's just the way a Clinks is played, glass cannon-ish. I mean, like, how do you ensure that if you're Vega? Just hope for good roars, or is there an approach you want to take, like strategically, and how you position him and what your targeting priorities are?
They have to just have the frontliners, have the mech ready in the back and have Mag get the good initiations off. But they have to watch out because of this Oracle. If Oracle's in a great position every single time as the roar goes off, these fights are just going to turn around instantly. Aggressive. He's going for this phase drum armlet build, so not this cheesy, tranquil, bassy Radiance build that we see a lot of teams go for. He's just going for the straight up lifestealer. He's just a lifestealer.
I like that actually. I mean, it's not quite as fun as the cheesy Radiance build, but against this lineup, he needs the damage output because they have the ability to focus him down if the fights aren't taken on the appropriate terms. So his ability to make the most he can out of his time, I think, is maybe a little preferable.
Helps him scale earlier too, which they need. They don't really want to lose all their buildings when he's just like going for this Radiance for no reason.
Right.
So definitely a good approach. Something the panel talked about, they were saying that LGD was lacking like lockdown for the team fights and everything, and then they picked the Slardar. We do have a pause, but instead of just using the Slardar as the only type of lockdown, they had maybe go for the Quas Wex as well, which is a really interesting approach, which I don't think most teams would have gone for.
Why don't you dive into that for me a little bit since we got a pause? I mean, there's the high-level analysis somebody like me can give you, which is, Quas Wex offers better control, Exhort's a little more stompy, more objective-based, you do a lot more damage and so on. But in terms of this game, what do you think that's going to mean for each stage of the game, going with the Quas Wex approach as opposed to Exhort? Strengths and weaknesses and how you play around that if you're Vega.
They wanted to have a force that fights early. So that's definitely the reason why they had the Invoker. I don't think they expect the Slardar to have such a fast Blink Dagger. And I think
agreed.
As expected, MMY had got a little bit struggled, a little bit starved for his level 6. But as soon as he got it, their team fight was just won. So I think the Quas Wex support approach is really interesting. And then him going for the Midas is going to be able to secure them for that later route. So I really like what Maybe's doing in this game.
Aggressive, continuing to just take a lot of free farm up there. The Armlet is already out. Armlet drums. I mean,
going for Deso as well after that.
Aetherland's up on the Zeus as well. So, both teams are finding good progression here. It's still a pretty close game. I actually thought we'd see LGD really play on the advantage they got after that last engagement. But it's really, really close to even, close to 1,000 gold separating both teams, and both are just happy to farm for right now. Mag is under cover of smoke, looking to make something happen, but he's by himself. No, check that. FN. Ooh, double damager. And then there's going to be the roar. He's going to hold him in place. There's going to be the ult as well.
He can just infest the book.
Yep, here we go.
But he still looks like he might go down here.
He's so fast. Nope, going to be able to make it away.
Phase and the drum charge.
Yep.
Really nice play there.
And he had armlet toggle if he needed it, too.
Yep. Very nice play. So LGD's kind of looking, they're not really looking to fight right now. They know that Enigma has the mech. They saw Zeus with the Arcane Rune, and yeah, it's hard to fight directly into Vega's lineup. Like I was saying before, they have a lot of ultimates. You know, LGD's looking just trying to just split up the map, take off these little engagements. If they're able to get a great Oracle ultimate, it can turn the fight completely. And now they're actually going to go for a Roshan here. They don't have any urn charges to heal up Zhao Wei, but they do have Oracle.
Yep. Let's see if they can get it. It's not dropping nearly as fast as you would think. I mean, having a Slardar there usually makes this a very fast affair, but
now they've got aggressive there.
Yeah.
So they have the open wounds as well to heal up their homies.
Most typical trade in Dota history. Trade the tier 2 top for the Roshan, and we'll see how it goes from here. I like this for LGD, though. I mean, they don't want to lose map control, but, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but it just, map control it's important, but when you have a team in Vega that really wants to fight as 5 and is so cooldown dependent on their ultimates, you're going to be kind of okay with trading away something that helps you in those team fights, or trading away something like map control, so long as it helps you in those team fights. That sound on track?
Yeah, definitely. They also, like we were saying, they're avoiding the fights, and they want September to finish up the mech, which he's going for. So they're going to have the mech, which is going to nullify Vega's mech advantage, because they're both going to have it out. And now, yeah, they're just able to get a couple more levels, which they wanted. You know, they didn't want to just have Zhao Wei get the Blink Dagger and, like you were saying, fall off in case something went wrong. Now he's able to pick up like another item, get a few more levels, and now, yeah, they lost a little bit of map control, but might not be the biggest deal as long as they can do something with this Aegis, as long as they can get a couple pickoffs or something, because the one problem is that Vega does have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 towers taken down, and LGD has only kind of half HP on all 3 towers here, even though they have very aggressive wards down.
It just strikes me as a game of patience. They know against a team like this, if they get a full 5-man wipe at some point, if they're able to just take one big fight where the black hole's expended, maybe he's not on point, you know, the momentum that Vega is so reliant on, I think, is just going to fall off so much. And how many times have we seen it? You know, with Clinks, who is looking pretty beastly, and by all rights, he's beastly. He's about 700 gold away from BKB, very key item. But if they can catch him right here, for example, and that seems to be the plan as they're smoking into the enemy jungle, and they can just take this fight, use that Aegis, and just slow down and make Vega take a breath, I think they're going to be in a great position as we get closer to the true mid-game. Here we go. LGD going to move in.
He went Blade Mail on Doom, by the way. I had to point that out.
Oh, here we go. Shao Wei went in and
just
missed.
Misses it.
That's a big miss for him, too, because now
they've got the glimpse if they have vision, but there's no hawk up.
Oh, there we go. There's going to be a tornado EMP going to
dagger.
catch 2. Seima will get down. Oh, here we go. Coming back in. He's so low. The Zeus trying to do what he can. There's going to be the Doom.
Oh.
Use that on like a target with 50 HP. I guess just wanting to guarantee the kill and make sure it wasn't for naught. But I feel like that's actually pretty good for Vega. They got away with relatively small losses. They're going to lose the tier 1, but that's okay.
They didn't want to have the Lifestealer jump out of the Infest. I guess the Doom was just like, you know, I'm just going to Doom him. You know, like, I don't want to chase any further. This already, we messed up our initiation a bit, but maybe going for this Blink Dagger right away was really interesting there. You wouldn't really expect that at all. Vega definitely got caught off guard. And now, again, get another deep ward up in the enemy jungle. They're not, they're just keeping the pressure up. This Aegis advantage is really coming into play. And Mag, instead of finishing up his book, he goes for this Blink. I've actually seen him do this before, and it costed them a game.
Really?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was Mag, but it may have been somebody else. And I just remember it being like, if he had this book 3, it would have been such a big deal. But maybe he just wants to get the pickoffs. But the only question for me is him going for this Blink Dagger versus the Oracle. So I guess he's going to go for the Oracle in these fights with this Blink.
I mean, this is a game of mobility across the board, man. We did see the BKB finished up on Clinks, and again, you know, this first charge, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, this game just has the feeling of a game that's going to have so much decided by the first major fight that's won or lost on either side. Like, just both of them are really relying on the steady steady uphill item progression, relying on ultimates on the side of Vega, whereas LGD's relying on mobility, relying on different ways to turn a fight with Oracle and so on. And if either of them hits a brick wall, it's going to be so hard to recover.
I really like what LGD is doing, though. They're just like pressing, keeping like slowing the pace down of this game. They want to get their farm up. They want to get their items. They don't seem like they're in any rush.
And yeah, and they're continuing to build a lot of mid-game items as we see Force Staff's going to come out. I mean, it's good all phases of the game, but LGD just continuing. It seems to me like LGD might have a timing window in mind. You think that's the case?
Yeah. The beauty for me that I'm seeing is that this Slardar is already level 11 with Blink and a Force Staff. If you look, maybe has a Midas, and he's level 12. He's only just a bit ahead of this Slardar. So very impressive play by Xiao8.
LGD going to hook up near the Roche pit once again. Mag showing the flag down in the bot lane, but LGD really slipping into 5-man mode, not seeing them split up too much. And you know what? Vegas says we could do that, but we want to be invisible. As they're going to smoke and move into an area where they think they're standing. Now, again, FN with a 10-second BKB charge. This is a major opportunity for them, but they're going to be very reliant on getting the lockdown. And if you're LGD, you fear a black hole more than anything. There's going to be the Doom right onto it.
The BKB off.
Here we go. Vega has to pull back. There's going to be a glimpse back to buy some time, and the follow-up from Maybe. The blink showed off, cold snaps there, and the crush. That's a sure kill on the Enigma, who once again solo continues. Honestly, to have just another rough game. Game one, we talked about how, yes, he did some things right, he did some things wrong, but by and large, it has felt like his impact was very low in that game, other than giving up a few unfortunate deaths. And in this game, it's the same thing. He's down, and at the very least, I guess you can say he didn't spin the black hole. It's still available.
Yeah, and they could have had book 3 there to just kind of run in, but Mag with the blink dagger is looking for the jump opportunity, but right there he wasn't able to find it. And Clinks.
Like, they're going to have to get something out of his item build soon. Like,
no one now gone on.
Oh.
He is going to die.
And yep, no one, just erased from the game. Behind that, we see the Clinks trying to do something. BKB's been used. MMY will drop, but Mag drops too. FN's BKB will be expiring soon. Here we go, solo. Once a black hole, not going to find it. Xiao8 will be able to escape away. The Invoker not quite so fortunate. Looked like you could taste that he was just wanting to catch 2-3 heroes with that black hole. And that's something, we haven't talked a ton about, but Vega does have an excellent team at punishing any kind of a retreat action. And LGD's got to be mindful of that. We saw it right there with the glimpse, the fact that, you can't hold it and disengage because you have low health. The Zeus will punish that. Klink's able to run you down from behind and so on. So Vega got a win. They needed one.
It was a win, but at the same time, they did expend the black hole. Roar was used on an Oracle. The big thing was that they got this Invoker. But Aggressive that was an incredible play by him, if you saw that. He jumped into the boar as soon as the black hole was caught, but he didn't use the part where you actually become the creep. He was still infested in it, and it was still the enemy hero's boar. So it did not get black holed. It was still auto-attacking Maybe.
Right.
So then, right after the hole gets canceled, he then actually takes control of the creep, whatever it's really called. I know it's infest them, and then you have that little, whatever, it's a control or something. He used it afterwards. That was just beautiful heads-up play by him.
Game is as close as it's been in quite a while, and we can see actually LGD has regained the lead. Oddly enough, counterintuitively, you see Vega come away with what seemed to be a pretty good fight there, and yet they're still moving in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
And here we go. There's the Infest looking for the bomb. Xiao8's going to be the vehicle for Aggressive's aggression.
Aggressive is just playing so well. Like going up top, getting the top tower. They're getting so much out of this.
He's first person.
Oh, the static field.
Misplay there as the Xiao8 had his blink put on cooldown.
The range of static field. He was just, I don't even think they saw the Zeus and he got hit by it.
Yep.
He was going for that disruptor.
It's all right. They're going to reset, look to push bottom. And again, the weakness of an Enigma pick, strength and weaknesses. That ultimate is off cooldown, or on cooldown, excuse me, for a long, long time. This tier 2 down at bottom hasn't been touched, but unless they want to commit to a fight without a black hole, they're actually going to pull back. A little surprised by that. I think they could have pushed the issue there.
LGD is in such a commanding position this game.
Yep.
Like, this Invoker is going to have his Aghanim soon. He's already starting to opt for this Exort instead of maxing out the last point in Wex, so he wants to have that maximum efficiency for that AoE Deafening Blast if it comes to that point. MMY's got the Ghost Scepter, so the Clinks isn't able to solo pick him off. So it's basically going to be Beastmaster has to roar the Oracle in these fights.
The Clinks, though, has been such a liability, man. Definition of glass cannon. I mean, he does have the BKB up, but he's now got the crit stick to go with his Desolator. So whenever he's managed to consume a Death Pact, excuse me, a very big creep, he's going to be hitting for 250 plus and then crits on top of it. So a lot of these heroes, especially, again, you know, the drums, the armlet help, but the Lifestealer's not invincible. If he's just blown up with a couple of good crits, the team fight potential of LGD falls off because they're so reliant on him to just focus down those single targets.
It just doesn't feel like Vega's going to have enough damage in these fights. And saying that with a Zeus on their team is really scary because this Doom has, his job is literally Doom Clinks.
Yep.
And then they can just kind of kite around everybody else. Now he's got a Blink Dagger. He's close to his level 11. Just, yeah, looking very scary. Solo going for a BKB. Zeus ult out, MMY getting roared, surviving the roar, and Mag getting turned on. They expended Zeus ult, they expended roar, they expended book. FN, do they have any reveal for him? They do. MMY gets picked off there. Nice play there by FN, just running through, very ballsy. He just runs through 3 heroes and just goes for the kill and then just runs back and TPs out.
Roche going to be back up in 50 seconds. Would imagine that'll be our next position of contention. And we can see, Zeus mindful of that.
Sees the ward.
So we're going to have everyone up. All ultis are going to be up coming up. And it's going to be a bit of a race here. Black Hole, Enigma's BKB.
They've got eyes on these 3 heroes. LGD have 4 all around. This is scary. Oh, no.
There's going to be 2 caught out, though. Aggressive will be there to finish things up. There's going to be a glimpse back on Zhao 8, but they managed to get the kill, and yeah, that should secure them a Roshan. Roche coming up, they know it. They know he's due to be up soon. And yeah, I was just going to say, his BKB was very close to done. He was only about 600 gold away from it, but now about 1,000. No way he's going to have that up in time. And it's going to be very tough, I think, for Vega to fight into a Roche fight at this point.
It's going to be very tough for Vega to even fight. And they have these ultimate heroes as well, like all these ulti-reliant heroes in a way. It's just, it's looking quite one-sided, even though it's only like a 3,000 or 4,000 gold lead.
Yep.
They've got the Aghanim Scepter. Invoker's going to start becoming incredibly powerful once he hits that level 16. If he opts to go for that 2 Forge Spirits, or if he wants the level 4 Invoke, it's going to be very scary. Zhao 8 coming up on a BKB. They've got all their items basically coming online very soon, and you can feel the desperation coming out for Vega. Yep. They buy a gem out on Mag already.
Yeah, this is LGD very quickly and easily taking this Roshan. There's going to be the ult, but it's day late and $1 short. Ha! Yeah, I said it, guys. Sorry, had to sneak at least one in.
$1 short equal day late.
Day late and $1 short, man. LGD says, you know what, I got change, as they're going to smoke and look to come back out with their Aegis. Oh, FN's right up front. They mentioned, beautiful initiation. There's going to be a roar that catches September. Black Hole is the damage there. FN trying to get uphill to fire him down. Aggressive will drop, and now just pouring it on. However, Zhao 8 with the follow-up crush. Can they bring him down? Axes are going to be able to get 1 kill. And yes, the Clinks does drop. It's a 4 for 2, but more importantly, the one reliable source of damage they had after the ultimates is down, and he's down for 58 seconds. So they're going to be able to turn this into at least 1 good objective. Did the Aegis even get expended there? I didn't even see. Yeah, oh my goodness. So they're going to be able to really push this if they want now.
Yeah, the beautiful blink in from Slardar there. He's actually basically got his BKB finished up in about 1,500 gold. But yeah, he just brings, like we've been saying, the vehicle, he brings him in, gets him right into the team fight. Even though the hole catches him and he ends up dying, it's a huge fight for LGD. Vegas ends up having to just use all their ultimates, and I don't feel like we've seen a static storm since that first one that happened in the mid lane.
Yeah.
It's just they're not getting the opportunities. They're just getting jumped on, or they're getting smoked on, or it just seems like LGD knows what's happening 15 seconds ahead of Vega.
Yep. It does feel like, and you know, I always hate making statements like this. I mind less whenever I'm next to a professional caliber player because you can always correct me if I'm wrong. But it does feel like LGD is just more organized in these fights. I feel like Vega's going in with a game plan, but in terms of organizing, and you know, does that make sense? Like, it seems like LGD has a certain procedure, a certain protocol, and how they're initiating these fights, what their tier list of targets is, and be it instinct or be it something they're even verbally communicating. It just feels like they're managing these fights a lot better than Vega. And it feels like Vega's kind of going in and just saying, if you have an opportunity, go for it. And more often than not this game, it hasn't worked out.
It's just becoming so hard for them to fight. LGD's just, if the Oracle's in a good position, the Roar is completely negated, as well as something we didn't really get to talk about, which I was talking about while they were doing picks, is this Fate's Edict versus Zeus. It nullifies so much damage. It's able to disarm the Clinks as well. They just have so many different mechanics able to mess with Vega's lineup, mess with what Vega's plan is, and I feel like that's really what's happening. The Doom messes with everything. Like, Invoker, Tornado, EMP messes with everything that's going on. He even picks up a safe BKB now just to secure his safety.
It's actually an ingenious little smoke. They had aggressive showing face up at top and pushing that lane, and they came all the way across the map, swooped through the Radiant jungle. Didn't find anyone, but they're going to get a free tower, and the best that it looks like Vega can do is try to outsplit push them, but I don't think that's going to matter. I think LGD is going to be happy to try to bait a fight.
Jawade's setting up already.
Yep.
He's like, I don't want to lose this, even though it looks like it might already be lost.
Yeah.
But he's pinging. They're not able to respond on time. Hawk is catching them out as well, which is something else that we didn't really get to talk about. I feel like LGD has better vision and like just ideas of what's happening in the game when Vega has a Beastmaster. They have a Hawk all over the place. It's a remarkable thing to see.
Well, Vega for now able to stall things out. I actually thought that was going to go much worse. I thought LGD was going to push the tier 2 and then force TPs back and maybe try to catch someone lingering down at the bottom tier 2. That's kind of what I thought Xiaoyi was setting up for there.
I think they were just a bit scared because their Invoker doesn't have a TP, so they don't want to go for some 4 versus 5 engagement, and they're fighting into all the ultimates. If something goes wrong, it could be disastrous. It could be the turnaround that Vega needs, but they were smart. They just end up, keeping a few heroes back. They claim another tower. They get nice aggressive wards down all over the place on the side of Vega, and yeah, they're happy with the way the game's going. They don't want to take unnecessary fights, anything that'll risk them putting away their lead, which is getting pretty large. It's already at 7,500 net worth and 12,000 experience.
In terms of impacts for kills anyway, so far as the KD, which we all love to talk too much about, 7-2 for the Invoker, so certainly a very impactful game for Maybe. 6-1 on the Clinks, no real surprise there. He's got a lot of good squishy targets, and he's really done a good job of making opportunities even while his team has seemed to be playing from behind for quite some time, and that's not going to stop. I mean, geez, when he death packs a Centaur, man, his damage jumps up to like, oh, hang on.
Oh, this could be big. Xiaoyi has a BKB. Maybe go straight on the Disruptor.
Here we go. Sayama caught from behind. He's going to end up dropping for free. There's going to be the BKB and the jump as they're going to catch no one. Down comes the rock as Zeus bites the dust as well. And FN does manage to track down and get a kill on the Doom. I was going to say the Doom did go off onto the Enigma, so it's going to be how quickly can they make something of this. I was just about to ask you that before we got into that situation, which is, you've said so far the job of the Doom has been Doom Clinks. I think at this point with the BKB on the Enigma, is it not Doom the Enigma as the #1 priority?
I think he can Doom a lot of different targets now just because of how much sustain and control that LGD has. But yeah, he could definitely Doom the Enigma. Like if he has the opportunity, he's able to really Doom anybody if they're out of position, and they're probably gonna win the fight because you're fighting without a hero, basically. As long as the fight's approached in a good manner, I think dooming majority. Oh no, Solo forced to pop the BKB. Sunstrike.
He's gonna die anyway. That's such a huge kill. He's down for 50 seconds and no buyback.
Sayomo gets picked off in the back as well. They get a Roar and aggressive, but Oracle ulti jumps in the book. FN gets demolished once he's amped.
Vega's falling apart, man. They had no business coming to even pretend to fight for this tier 2, and now that's a full 5-man wipe. A triple kill for Maybe as he piles his kill total up to 11, and that just might decide this game. They went in one at a time, bad situation after bad situation. No, and this comes back to what we were talking about, Giannis. There didn't seem to be a plan. They were just staggering out to tier 2. And
LGD just has their number, really. They're just Vega's getting torn apart. They just, even though they have all this team fight and everything, they're just they're not able to do it. And yeah, that's definitely the game. There's no way they can come back from this.
And I don't. This result isn't surprising to me. I mean, we know how good. When you look at LGD's lineup, and yes, we can talk about how good or bad Chinese Dota has been and all kinds of nonsense. Vega, coming into this, I felt like was a team ready to really kind of come out of their cocoon a little bit. They've been showing some real bright spots. What went wrong here, my friend?
I don't really think that the Zeus pick ended up working out as well as they would have liked it to. Picking it up in first 2, and then just you could see LGD has basically like this 4-core lineup, while Vega has pretty much a 1-core. With sure, Enigma can do a lot, and Zeus does a lot of damage, Beastmaster as well. But when the enemy Slardar gets more than your Beastmaster in the offlane, it's so devastating. I think that's actually a huge thing that went wrong in this game. Even though Seoma had that beautiful glimpse back on the Slardar on Zhao 8, LGD was able to slow the pace down, not take stupid fights, get farm up, and yeah, you could just see what happens. They get that Roshan, then Vega wasn't able to team fight, and we didn't even get to see many disruptor ults. The first one that was used was beautiful. The black hole, the bottom one, it was unfortunate scenario, but then he gets one in the jungle, which was decent. But at that point, LGD was already so far ahead, and yeah, I mean, they played really well. They just seemed more cohesive.
Yep. Oh no, I completely agree with you. Cohesion. Keyword there, and we talked about before the game even started just how punishing this lineup of LGD could be if they manage to get ahead, of steam. And really, I'm super impressed with LGD coming out. And with Vega, you can't point to any one wrong thing, but you can look and you can kind of see the tail of the tape. It's tough when you got a 1-7-7 Zeus, no item development, no real level progression. Enigma, another tough game for Solo, sitting at 0-4-5, so not the best day for him. Mag was in a good position to start with, but then he did this thing that you said you had pointed to that cost a game where you go book one. And
I just don't even know if it cost him. I don't even know if the book 3 may have even helped him in that situation. It's something that some people have been seeing, and it's like you don't really see it happen too often. LGD had just such a good plan in this game. Right away, game starts. You pointed out. You're like pointing to the screen. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, they smoked right away. They smoke into the enemy jungle. They block Solo's camps, and they just right away. Like September makes 2 rotations. Both of his rotations work perfectly. They kill the Zeus. They kill the Disruptor bottom. Zhao 8 gets like a triple wave. What else could you really ask for? Sure, they lost some towers. The middle situation was unfortunate for maybe when he walked into Disruptor ulti. But overall, they were just able to take out. They did basically what they wanted to do in this game. Split the game up, get their items, and yeah, worked out just fine for them.
Well, we're going to go into the stage for an interview shortly. But, I'm going to continue onto the stage. You're going to be taking a step off after this. I think I'm casting with Ryu for the next series. I just wanted to, on camera, while we got a chance. You got to wipe your hand. A little sweaty, a little sweaty.
Obsing's a little tough, man. I can't lie. I'm sorry if it wasn't what everybody expected, but second time Obsing seemed okay.
Yeah, last time you obs was with me, South by Southwest,
and that was a disaster.
2014. Yeah,
that was a disaster.
That's all right. Trust me, it's much better than mine would have been. So it seems like they're still getting things all set up there. But let's talk a little bit. I guess while we got a minute or two, make sure it hasn't started. Yeah, it hasn't quite yet. Talk a little bit about again, for me stepping back into this after being kind of sidelined for the last. Oh, wait a minute. There we go.
We have the interview with the winners, with the first winners for today, and. By the way, did you like the Kyiv, or did you manage to walk around here to see the city?
暂时还没有，因为来到基辅以后就在酒店休息，然后昨天出去吃了个饭，感觉街上人还挺多的。
Not for the moment. The LGD just came here yesterday, and when yesterday they came on their taxi and just watch from the window, and they say Kiev is a very beautiful city.
Hope you'll manage to see it a little bit better. And tell me about how do you prepare for your games? Do you train your personal skills or team skills, or you just watch the games of your opponent and work on that?
我们就有研究过他们的一些数据，然后研究他们录像，然后针对我们开会讨论一下自己要打的阵容。
Yeah, nothing special. Just watch some replays, and just watch some.
Thank you very much. Congratulations again, and we will go back to the analysis desk. Thanks. Thank you very much.
E-gaming bets.